I hate both of you.
Welcome to One Foot on the Ground. This is Ashley.
And this is Johnny.
And today we are discussing Candyman.
2021.
Look at that. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
look
so
at us.
current.
Look at us go.
We
We're
both went
hip.
and saw a
We're
movie.
with it.
We paid dollars
Yeah, we see movies in the cinema.
sometimes, on occasion. Uh, I think, well, no, me and Jason went and saw a preview screening for The Night House.
Oh, okay.
Like a little bit before you told me about the preview screening for Candyman. We actually saw it
Yes.
like the week before that, which I thought was hysterical. I was like, does she know that we went and did that? I didn't tell anybody.
I can't believe you did that without me.
I didn't. It was last minute. We didn't.
Nope,
We
still hurts. Still hurts the
sorry.
same.
Okay. Well, I mean, next time if it happens, which it probably won't, but
We've,
um,
outside of this podcast, we've probably seen one, two motion pictures at the cinema together.
you and me,
Yeah. Star
we've
Wars.
seen more than that.
Tell
Like
me.
during our friendship.
In theaters during our friendship, name another movie, not Star Wars. Go. That's what I thought.
I mean, I have a terrible memory as it is. I have no clue. I feel like we have seen something, but I couldn't tell you what the hell it
My
was.
memory is impeccable.
Well, good for you. Uh, hold on to that as long as you can. No, I mean, well, and I was going to say before we saw the night movie, whatever that
The Night
Night
House.
House, we, the last movie I saw in a theater was Star Wars with you. So it really hasn't been a whole lot of movies, especially the pandemic and bull honky.
Yeah.
But then we went and saw Candyman. Do. Oh, Night House was good. It was fine. I expected more. Well,
Ooh.
sort of. I mean, I really didn't have any expectations because I didn't even. It was free. Who cares? But I don't know. I feel like with those kind of movies, if you're going to give me a haunted house, it needs to be excellent. And it wasn't necessarily excellent, but the actress that was in it was amazing. And she deserves lots of credit for that because she carried the entire movie and it was fantastic to watch.
Rebecca Hall.
Sure. No idea. But anyway, so
She was in
Candyman.
The Town, The Prestige.
She was in The Prestige.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that's her, the main girl?
Oh, she's top billed. I didn't see the movie.
I
It's
didn't.
next on my list to see. But she's also the chick who was in Godzilla versus Kong. That's where I know her.
Maybe I know
And
she's
Tales from the
definitely
Loop. Did you watch Tales from the Loop?
Tales from the Lube. Is that what you said?
Tales from the Loop. It's the one that's kind of
Oh,
modeled
I
after
love that. I love that. That was a show, right?
yeah, it was like that, and that it's like modeled after that artist's work, isn't it? I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh, I loved that.
I can't remember
Loved
his
that.
name. Stein Rockenberg,
Who
something
knows?
like
I
that.
have no clue. Um,
Yeah, she was wasn't she the mother figure?
she
Loretta?
very well could have been.
Okay. Well then if it is,
Yeah.
that's Rebecca Hall.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming back to me now. I'm remembering her face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was excellent in this movie. Excellent. Which this is not Candyman. We're
No.
getting there, I promise. The sidetrack. Yeah, she's excellent. Yeah, yeah. Loved her. Loved her. This movie would not have worked if she hadn't been so good, but it did work. Could have been whatever. We'll talk about that another day because you still haven't seen it, so I don't want to mess anything up.
Yeah, you need to stop right there.
Yeah, stop right there. Don't you say anything. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think of it. But Candyman. So for a little background information for the audience, I actually have seen Candyman, the original. Just so we all know. Oh my goodness.
Oh, this guy.
John has watched a movie. And
you want to know what's funny?
What?
You've also watched a movie that I probably should have watched, and it's more likely that I would have watched it and you would not have. But it's the opposite. I've not seen Candyman, the original. As I was watching this one, I was like, I remember pieces, but I don't think I've seen Candyman. Like I know the story, but I do not think I've seen it.
Yeah, I definitely saw it. And I am trying to pinpoint exactly when and why. I know for a fact it wasn't my choice. It was like
it's also your current boyfriend's favorite movie.
It is one of his. Well, who knows what his favorite movie is? He says something different all the time. Currently, I believe it probably was, just because the new one was coming out. Because I think Scream has been one of his too. That's why he was on our Scream episode.
Well, yeah, Scream is perfect.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I think it was like a group of friends wanted to watch a horror movie, ooh, turn the lights out, let's watch a movie. And they always made me watch the bullshittiest movies I've ever and I've told you this before, like Nightbreed was one of them, which I hated that movie, but I love the score by Danny Elfman. Absolutely brilliant. Wasted on that horrible movie. And I'm sure we'll get flack for that because everybody loves that damn movie. I do not. But Candyman. So yeah, I saw the original back in the days. And I actually liked it. I didn't think it was bad. It was perfectly fine. I don't remember a whole lot of the death scenes, I suppose. I remember him. I remember how he comes into play with the mirror. He had a hook. He killed people. There were bees. Like, I remember things, but I couldn't tell you specifics on who died where and what and the plot and like who was the heroine or hero.
Yeah, I know the plot of Candyman is like homegirl Helen was studying urban legends and she was like, I'm gonna get it from like the horse's mouth or whatever, and she was like going to a place where the urban legend of Candyman had started, and she was like investigating it there, and then the Candyman popped up. He's like, yo, bitch, you talking about me?
And it was a white girl, right? In the original?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was a white woman. It was white. In fact, it's mostly the same story. We're gonna spoil Candyman 2021. So if you have not seen it,
oh yeah, like, BT dubs people.
Stop right now, go watch it. It is good. I'll give you that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's worth the watch.
It is definitely worth going to see.
Yeah.
For sure. And paying the money. Pay the money. Give us support the people.
Especially Nia DaCosta. So yeah, so in the puppet, in the little story, the urban legend that oh my goodness, I'm forgetting everybody's names now.
Girl,
my impeccable memory. The Troy, the brother, he tells his sister like a spooky story about like the neighborhood and gentrification, but the neighborhood before the gentrification.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and that story of Helen like taking the baby and like
that was the story of the first movie.
Yes, but it was also a little changed because it's it's a word of mouth story, you know, it's told,
Yeah.
and it's also not told from the perspective of the woman, you know, it's like the townspeople who see this woman like with a baby going at a bonfire.
Yeah.
And so it like works out that way.
It was also interesting how this one told, I don't know how to explain that. Like, I liked the idea, like, let's say you hadn't seen the first movie, which you kind of didn't. So,
Right.
so I loved, and I did see it, but what, like, me, what I remembered from it, who knows? But I liked that they structured this where we got the urban story, or the, well, not urban myth, I wouldn't say myth, the
Legend.
neighborhood legend of this woman that did the thing, and that's the story of the original movie, but told that way. And I kind of loved that Candyman didn't even come up into it until later. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like he had to go further to find that information,
Yes.
which I thought was
Yes.
very well done. Like,
Yeah, when he when Anthony wanted to find inspiration for his artist block, if you will, and he like went down to the city, to that town, Cabernet Cabernet Ridge, something like that, and he was taking pictures, and yeah, he went deep further, met up with a fellow that ran a laundromat, and just started asking him questions, and he's like, "Whoa, let me tell you a story of Candyman. Ain't nobody talking about it anymore," which is also kind of like, I guess it's kind of a red flag, right? Because Candyman's name was dying, and he doesn't exist without people calling upon him, you know,
yeah.
like he
Well,
was
and
dying with gentrification.
that comes up later. And then it
Right.
occurred to me, I was like, oh shit, yeah. Like, if that man hadn't told him that story,
We wouldn't be having
we
these
wouldn't have
problems.
any of this. None of this would have happened.
Right. And my favorite form of witch, like whenever we get a development of a witch, and the woman was not a witch until she was made a witch. And by that I mean, like, women be getting prosecuted as witches simply because, some dude was like scared about something or got some kind of rash, and like put all this blame and prosecuted like this like innocent person, and the prosecution and the unjustness of their death transforms them into a witch and like curses the fucking town, and it's like, you know what, fuck me, fuck you, like it didn't have to be this way. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite forms of witches, and that's basically what Candyman was, through all these like unjust deaths and like all this like torment and torture generationally.
Hmm.
I liked that was how Candyman was created. That Candyman wasn't just one person. That
Hmm.
Candyman was essentially these wrongfully prosecuted witches. Um,
Yes.
but it was just another thing that we've seen many times in cinema, whereas Candyman is
Yeah.
kind of like his own thing, but he's still like an urban legend. But he's like a mixture of them. He's like a mixture of like the guy with the hook hand, Bloody Mary. What's the other one? It's the third one I'm thinking of. It's gone now.
No, I understand. I think
Yeah.
that was very well thought out as well for this, to
Mm-hmm.
give us that, and some of it being real. Because there are some parts of this that are based on reality, things that actually happened.
Right.
Um, and I don't remember if we've talked about it on the podcast. I don't think so. But one of the main stories that inspired this was a true story about a woman who lived in one of the project apartment buildings
Mhm.
that they had built, and every single apartment was like a mirror image of the one next to it. So they were exactly the same. And the thing that they did to cut down on cost and blah, blah, blah was the mirrors in the bathroom. Do you know about this?
Yeah, no, we've talked about this, but definitely tell the footsies.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if we talked about it on the podcast or
No,
not,
you and
but
I have definitely talked about this.
yeah. So the apartments share a mirror in the bathroom, like the medicine cabinet. And if you remove it on either side, you can get into the other apartment very easily. Not cool. But it was like one of those things like, shit, that's probably not good. And you've actually nowadays in modern times, there was a very famous TikTok recently about a woman who discovered one of these where there was air coming from nowhere in her bathroom and she thought it was haunted of some sort. And then it turns out that's exactly what it was. It was one of those old apartment buildings where there was a mirror image apartment on the other side that wasn't being used. So it was abandoned or whatever. I don't even know.
I think it was under construction in the TikTok.
Yeah, I think something to that effect. But anyway, they so those were real. And this woman, kept calling the police saying, these people keep coming through the wall. They keep coming through the wall, like they're coming through the wall. And everybody just thought she was nuts. They're like, oh yeah,
and if
sure, they're
I
coming
remember
through the wall.
correctly, she was like older, and they did think that she was like senile or something. That
Yes, she was older. Yes,
like cognitively like slipping like a little bit, but they made it out to be worse than what it actually was. To just kind of
yes.
be like, what a crazy old bat.
Okay, we'll check up on you at some point. And then by the time they got there to check up on her, they came into the apartment. She was dead. She was murdered. But
Mhm.
there was no, they couldn't, it was like one of those creepy situations where like, how did she get murdered
Yeah,
if nobody got in here?
yeah.
And
There
then
was no sign
eventually
of forced entry.
yeah. So eventually they figured out the damn mirror thing and figured out that there were people on the other side, drug addicts that were on the other side, like trying to rob her because they kept coming through to rob her from getting things to sell for drugs. So they did it many, many times. That's why she called so many times. And
Mhm.
finally, they killed her in one of the instances. Or anyway, so that's what happened. So that was part of it. I think like
Did you
Candyman
Did you
comes from
hear in the movie they played a sample of that story
yes.
in the
Mhm.
background while like Anthony was like painting?
Yes, I love that.
Oh, that's one of the stories. That's one of them.
Yeah, they do. They tell you up until a certain point, it is the exact same story that
Mhm.
we just told you, except they change it towards the end to be Candyman, I believe.
Yeah,
Or
to make it a bit less yeah, make it more vague so that like
yeah, so it worked with the movie.
yeah.
But that is one of the inspirations for Candyman in general.
Yeah,
Um,
that and what is it? The guy who like got some teens to like help him lure like kids with candy until they like realized he like wanted to like rape them, and they were like, oh no,
well,
never
there was
mind.
also the razor blades in candy.
That's the other urban legend. What's the plan? What's the plan with that? That's the dumbest one. That's
Well,
the dumbest urban legend.
it is. It's stupid. But the razor blades in it wasn't even razor blades in the story that actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody made it out to be like, because I remember that in the 80s. Like
Yeah.
my mom was terrified to go have us go trick or treating because, what if these candies were poisoned or had blades or whatever it was? Like, it was like, just, oh my God, don't eat candy from people that you trick or treat from because they're trying to kill you. We were always on the verge of being murdered when we were kids.
Yeah, or don't change out from the payphone. There might be dirty needles with like HIV or some other thing.
Oh, I never heard
in
that.
them.
Ew.
Really? I did. That scared me for a little bit, but I was like, I can poke the thing up without touching the bottom
True. True.
and
You
get the
just gotta be
change.
smart.
I
Gotta be
ain't leaving that
smart.
change behind. That's a phone call.
Girl, not only that,
65 cents.
going to the laundromat with my mom was
Yeah,
always fun because
without call and collect.
you'd find coins in the dryer lint all the time. Like, yes, mom, take me to I mean, I found money in there. I got candy. I was so excited. Anyway, but anyway, so but the basic premise of this movie, this incarnation, is that it is a sequel to the original, for
Mhm.
one. We start off all the years later. We do get the story of the one-armed man or one-handed man, kind of the Candyman, like the literal Candyman, the one that was trying to give candy out to kids.
Yeah.
That's kind of this the because it is kind of confusing because there are so many different versions of the story itself, and all the different Candymans, basically, like you were saying earlier, like they all accumulate into one witch kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
they're all, it's just history repeating itself over and over and over with these injustice kind of situations where these innocent people were killed, and the vengeance of those people are coming up as the same entity to wreak havoc on people, hopefully
Yeah.
white people. uh,
I liked that everyone that was killed by Candyman, they were all white people, right?
I was literally just in my head trying to figure out if that was the case, and I believe it is. I don't
I
believe
believe it
any.
is too. And it's almost like
It makes sense because the thing that I thought of early in the movie, and it just occurred to me while we were sitting here talking about this. This is how fresh this movie is for us. Because I was thinking he did it first. He conjured Candyman by saying Candyman 5 times. Candyman appeared, but didn't kill him.
yeah,
And
but there
then
was
she does
also
it
that
at the
thing where
end of
he
the
was
movie.
supposed to be his next descendant or something.
I
Like,
mean, we do reveal in the end that he was the baby that was kidnapped and was
mhm,
supposed to be the, I guess, legacy of
sacrifice or
Candyman.
something.
Yeah, like he was supposed to. I felt it was him being conditioned to take over for Candyman, but
Right. I
I,
thought,
I don't really know, but whatever. Um, no, but it occurred to me that I think you're right. I don't think any black people were murdered by Candyman. I believe it was all white people. And
yeah.
because at the end of the movie, she does the same thing. She conjures Candyman. And I kind of wondered if she was doing it on purpose because she knew that, well, two things. One, did she know that he wouldn't kill her because she's black? Or two, she was ready to die because she was over, like, I'm going to conjure him because this is an impossible situation. Let it
Yeah.
happen.
And she's like, you know what? Fuck me. Fuck you. Let
Exactly.
me see
Fuck
that
all
mirror.
y'all.
Officer, let me see that mirror.
Yeah, because
I also thought that because I do not remember seeing the first movie. I do know that Candyman is like the romantic serial killer. I know he has like, well, it's still not the same guy, but you just kind of like, I gathered the idea that he didn't harm her because there was no reason to. She
yeah.
wasn't someone who, like, one,
Well,
they were connected. She took care of him.
yeah. Well, that too. But like I said, he didn't kill the guy either. Well, but wait, I don't know. I don't know. But I kind of
Well, those
like
are the only two that didn't die that did conjure, unless you count the girl in the bathroom, but she didn't say his name. She just like watched all these people die.
where.
The one, the
Oh,
teenagers.
she was black
That
though, wasn't she?
Yes, she was black. But she also didn't say his name.
No,
She was
she
wearing
did not.
headphones.
But I'm
And
saying
then she
too,
was like, I am not getting out of this fucking stall. Like,
yeah, smart girl.
yeah.
Uh, I
And I
wouldn't either.
couldn't tell, like, because that girl was getting bullied by that other group of girls that, like,
Mhm.
were playing Candyman in the mirror. That girl, I wondered if she was simply there to make us hate those girls and make it feel like justified. Because
You know
a lot of
what?
times in horror movies, like a person has got to be a dick and then they kill them so that it's like okay.
Yeah, I didn't like them
And
anyway.
I was like, I don't like you guys making fun of her.
But I'm saying, like, I didn't like them to begin with, so they could just go ahead and kill them. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
didn't like them from the beginning either. They were already trash.
I
Like,
mean, that girl was trash when she was at the gallery looking at the goddamn art. Like, fuck you, bitch.
yeah, she was
Go ahead
taking
and die.
pictures and then like acting bored.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was yeah, I mean, I like the idea though that like if there's another one, if they give you more explanation about that, I would kind of like it. I like the idea that Candyman can be conjured to specifically kill white people. Like, like I kind of like it. Like, can we definitely do that for the next one to make
Well,
sure
yeah,
it's very
it's
clear that
kind of
that's what's
like
happening?
he's like yeah, it made it more like he was an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like he was taking down like shitty people or like, borderline like teenagers bullying. Like, yeah, you know what? Take them out. Whatever. They were mean.
Yeah.
But like the police officers, all right, wait, okay. So I saw this movie in like the Dolby like digital theater
Oh
where they
my.
have like the sound is like set up right and like the the picture is like crisp and clear and the blacks are like black and it's like awesome. But I need to know if it was like the sound design or just the theater I was in, but either way I enjoyed it. And that sounds the death scene of Anthony, which is horrific and tragic, and his girlfriend Brianna is like holding him and she's like saying in here because the police show up and there's you ain't gonna get help from the police.
Mm.
Not like if there's anything we learned even just in this movie, not just like anything produced by Jordan Peele or the current world, or I guess the world in general, but like those officers aren't there to help. They're
No.
there to
Yeah.
react. They're trigger happy people.
Which I
So
think she did, or somebody mentions that before it even happens. I think it was the guy that called the police, right? It was the laundromat guy.
well, yeah, and he did it on purpose. He called the police so that they would kill him
So
because
they
he's
would
like,
kill him. Yeah.
yeah, and he had said that he said like that they were going to see a man,
Yeah.
like with a hook in his hand. And there's no fighting it. Like, they caught their bad guy. But yeah, but he was laying in her lap and they came in with the precision and shot him dead without shooting her.
You know,
Um,
yeah. And I
but
kind of wondered about that too, because her reaction to it made me think that they shot her. Like I thought
like
they
her
did.
grabbing her chest, I
Yeah.
thought that they may have shot her too.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that. I was like, oh shit, they just killed her. What?
Yeah, I did too.
I
Yeah.
was pissed too, because I was like, fuck you.
But the gunshots when they fired those two shots in that room, John, did you feel it in your chest when those shots were fired for that particular scene? Because I thought that sound design was perfect. Not only did it hit, but it felt like I was in the room while a gun was being shot. Like, yeah. And I've been in rooms with like guns getting fired. Like I was like, oh, like I like felt it. And I was like, that was cool. That was nice. This is an awful moment, but that part was nice.
Yeah. The sound design, I was going to bring that up too. The sound design on this was impeccable. I mean, we might not have had the best theater experience like you did, but I did notice the the surround sound specifically. Like I remember sounds coming from parts of the room that I wasn't aware they would come from, if that makes sense.
Like the bees. Like the
Yeah,
little
like
buzzing.
there was stuff coming from speakers that like made like, have they upped the game and added more speakers to theaters? I have no idea, because
No,
I'm
they were
expecting
just she was using the dynamics of the theater.
she was being amazing.
Right.
Um,
The woman, by the way,
by the way, yeah, can
the
we
woman who
mention that?
directed this movie is Nia DaCosta. And
Yes.
I want to say when this movie started, when I was watching the opening credits and it said
Oh,
produced by Jordan Peele, I
mhm.
was like, wait a minute, because I had seen so many bits of marketing where it's just like Jordan Peele.
Girl, this is a
Candyman.
poltergeist situation.
No, and I thought about that. I was like, girl, you Toby Hooper, I'm gonna say your name.
Well, and
I'm
it's
gonna
even
make sure your name gets heard, Nia
I-
DaCosta, because you
exactly.
are a good director.
She is spectacular. Can we rewind for a second, because the opening credits to this were beautiful.
They made me uncomfortable.
I
But it was like,
loved that so much. It was brilliant. And it was one of those things where as I'm watching it, I'm like, how come nobody ever thought to do this? It was brilliant. It was and basically what it was shots of the cityscape, like the looking up at the buildings, like at a very, very angled position. Like you're looking way up at these buildings, the skyscrapers in Chicago, right? It was Chicago. But she flipped it upside down. So it's the way, like, if she had kept it right side up, it would have been boring as fuck. And like, I've seen this so many times. Who gives a shit? But the fact that she flipped it upside down made it so bizarrely uncomfortable. It was like, oh shit, wait a minute. I can't adjust. You can't physically adjust your view to feel comfortable with that. Does that make sense? So her doing that was, wow, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Because it forced you to be uncomfortable. You couldn't get away from it.
So many things as far as her directing goes. Like even with like, I really liked that she was doing that thing where like Candyman didn't have a bunch of jump scares. Like it had moments where you got spooked, but it wasn't like a traditional jump scare. It was just like because you had a lot of tension. But she would also place the Candyman in the background, in the mirrors. Like you could see like his shadow, you could feel his presence even when he wasn't there, whether it was like the buzzing of the bees or just like having like the several images of a person in a mirror. Then you're like, is Candyman there? No, he's not there, but is he going to be? Like, and you're just like unsettled the whole time. Like she really toyed with you with her direction.
Yeah.
And I really dug
and
that. I look
bees,
forward to her next thing.
The bees, brilliant. Like when she had the bees on the other side of the glass.
I loved it.
I loved that so much. Like when he was going to the mirror and actually touching it and it's not on his side, it was like, oh fuck. And then in the compact mirror in the bathroom, when the bee actually goes to the other side and then bzz, like, oh, I'm getting chills. It flies off into the reflection, like going towards the action that's happening off screen. Absolutely amazing. Just
and that's
the details
like, that's the
in that
scariest stuff that like makes me like turn. I bet this movie would have been incredible in D-Box.
Oh,
Like
probably,
I
yeah.
would have been just like,
Ew, I'm
oh,
surrounded by bees. Ew.
yeah, just like that little like like on your neck, like oh,
Blech.
it's like you could
No.
still hear it in like the theater. You know what I mean? You can still like feel it because like you're connecting, and but it's like oh.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what she does next because this
She's
was
doing a
an
Marvel movie now, like currently. She's
what?
currently directing the Marvels. So it's
Girl,
I'm pretty sure it's the Captain Marvels.
girl, get your movie on. She's getting a paycheck.
Yeah,
Get
dude.
it.
And
Get
good.
it.
Good for her. I hope she continues to do horror because I really dug this.
Yeah, this was very
Um,
well done.
but like good for you, girl. Just like Florence Pugh. Like I hope you come back to horror, girl. But you know, good for you. You got her the show.
Well, I also um I think that horror, especially nowadays, I like it when it's in the hands of very visual people, like filmmakers who know how to, I don't know how to explain this. Like even American Horror Story to some extent, like the photography on a lot of those episodes, especially I would say Coven. Coven was my favorite I can't words.
Season.
Coven was my favorite if you're talking about how it was photographed.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that one.
Not
It wasn't
Hotel.
my favorite season for content, but I loved the way that it was photographed. But I think successful horror films nowadays are best presented by people who have an impeccable visual style. Like,
It makes it hard to look away.
well, that too. Well, that too. And then when you do get something that you don't want to see, it's like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
a
like, oh
little bit,
shit.
a little bit off subject. There's a Netflix miniseries called Brand New Cherry Flavor, and it's about like a girl trying to get her like a horror director trying to get her
Jason watched that.
movie made. Jason
Yeah.
watched it. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list, but I was
In
like,
every
not in the
episode,
mood.
John, baby spoiler, because it does a lot with like gore and such, but it also does it well. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I like gore. So maybe it's not for the faint of heart. But in every episode I've seen so far, this chick pukes up a kitten, a
Okay.
little baby kitten in
Interesting.
every episode. And I remember watching an episode last night and just like she goes and pukes up the kitten. And I'm like, oh, every time, like just watching it. But I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, but I'm like, look at her go, because now it's fun to see, like, I don't know, to like watch it because like,
Yeah.
you know, at some point, like, you know, I like to celebrate the makeup and like the effects and such. There's other stuff where I think like I would like to talk about with you. I would like to talk about some of the visuals in this series. But yeah, homegirl be puking up a cat. And
Yeah, I need to watch that.
I'd
I
be
love
watching it.
Catherine Keener
I
for
do not turn
sure.
away.
Um, yeah. Um, I was gonna mention like even Jordan Peele, like Get Out. Of course, it's visually wonderful to look at. Like he
Mm-hmm.
did a very good job with that. Um, and this one, even Night House, the one that we saw before, like I loved the visual quality of it. It was like, oh, this I can get behind because you're giving me something. Well, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it, but um just I like that. I mean, you know, and of course I'm going to bring up The Shining by Stanley Kubrick.
Right.
Like you get an excellent horror film directed by somebody who knows exactly how to photograph something beautifully. So, you know, I love that. I
Or
think that's amazing.
Midsommar. Beautifully
Honestly,
photographed.
yes. And
Yeah.
composition wise, and even, you know, The Witch, which
Oh,
was
the
that
witch
by the
was
same
so
person?
good. What?
That was by the same person, right?
No.
Or that was
Ari
his
Aster did
friend.
Midsummer and Hereditary, which
you go.
also was gorge.
Yeah, that was all. I was going to bring up that one too because it's
But the
beautifully
witch
photographed.
was Robert
He's the one that
Eggers.
did the lighthouse.
Yes.
Okay,
Also,
yeah.
visual
Also,
effects.
very good.
Yeah. But these are also people who very much understand a camera and the art of the camera. Where that's not saying there isn't art in like these other movies that have like the art of storytelling and suspense and things like that. But horror, I love good visual, like Midsummer makes me feel small. Lighthouse makes me feel too big, makes me feel cramped. And it's just from the way they like photograph these films, just like little things like that. Like, yeah.
I think
And I
that's the
really
exciting
like,
part.
then Candyman made me feel like I was, I don't know, walking on ice. Like I could slip any moment if I wasn't careful. Like I better like hold on to myself.
Yeah. It also, and maybe it's a good thing, with all the white people dying, justified deaths here, because white people are terrible. I felt uncomfortable. Oh shit. I keep forgetting I'm white. I am this person that people don't like in this situation.
Well,
but
not
again,
entirely,
like,
because these people are also
justified.
just trash people.
Well, trash people, yeah, that's true.
It's
And
like,
we have to bring up
you're more
that the
than the
gay
color of
people
your
did
skin.
not die in this movie.
That's true too. Yeah, John, yeah.
I was so happy because Jason pointed that out when we got back to the car. It's like, oh yeah, the gay people survived in this one. I was like, oh, you're right, they did. Because I was expecting them to go first. I'm not even kidding. I was like, oh, well, great. There's gay people. They're going to die.
But they were also the most like, they were the most practical. And it was very much like, even though Brianna like was like, that's ridiculous. Don't like, Candyman doesn't exist. She still wouldn't say his name up until like she was trying to prove a point to Anthony, who was having like a break, but Brianna, like when Anthony was trying to say his name before, she was like, stop it. And like, they just weren't trying to fuck around. Troy, even when Troy was bringing Brianna back after Anthony having his breakdown and her leaving, and they came back to like get some of her things, and Troy like announcing their presence like in the apartment, that seemed very like real.
I would have
It
done
felt
that.
like these were real people doing real things, except for part of me. So all right, so I know it's, some people try or will interpret it as like, was the Overlook haunted, or was this a story of Jack going mad? Was Helen, did she meet the Candyman, or was she just going mad? Was she just like, was she actually the one killing these people and trying to recover? Or, and it's the same for like the movie Censor. Like, does she know more about like her missing, or does she actually not? Like, is it like, like, is it something that she's actually repressed, or did she repress it for a reason?
Yeah.
Just like little things like that. And I like the idea, because Anthony did this thing earlier in that didn't necessarily come up blatantly later, where when the art curator and his assistant died, the first Candyman deaths, when those two died and it was on the news, Anthony was like, they said my name.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fun that he cares more about the fame. And I'd be like, what fun would it be if he was killing these people and just having like
Yeah.
like there's the same theme. Like we're watching his perspective, but he's actually going mad and killing everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get
like
I
the
got
alternate ending to Scott Pilgrim. where he was actually murdering her 7 exes.
Oh God.
It wasn't like a video game.
Uh,
And so with that little bit and how much he like wanted to seek fame, like him becoming Candyman at the end wasn't necessarily like no, that still wasn't bad because now he doesn't have a name, you know. And that's like the other thing, like the say my name bit and this very much aligning with Black trauma and the abundance of it and how their names, just
Yeah.
get
I thought that
lost
too.
and
I
like,
thought it was very spot on for the moment to do that.
mhm.
Like, say his name or say my name.
Yeah, Destiny's Child, they had that altered score, the creepy score, the say my name, say my
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. I like that.
I liked it too.
What's really creepy about that? I was leaving work on Friday and we're walking past one of the lawyers in the office and he just randomly, like we thought he was going to like ask us something because of the way he was. I can't explain it. Like, when somebody's about to ask you something, you see their facial expression, like they haven't said something yet, but you're
Right.
expecting them to say something.
Mhm.
And we look over at him and he just starts saying, say my name, say my name. And I was like, okay, that's not what I expected, but okay. And then I thought it was really creepy that we ended up seeing this movie like the next morning. I was like, oh, that's really weird. I didn't even think about that until I heard the Destiny Child. I was like, oh shit, say my name. Oh, that's weird.
maybe he was watching the Candyman trailer and then he was
Maybe.
like, I gotta go for it though.
I gotta belt this out. Just very funny, very weird. No, I thought that was I also have a feeling that
So
people
sudden
that
and new.
didn't like this movie
Mm-hmm.
have to be white for one thing.
Well, wait, you're not. Oh, wait a minute. Who said that who said anybody didn't like this
Oh,
movie?
Jason's been on the internet. He got on there as soon as we left the theater. And there have been a lot of people that are like, no. And I was like, are they white? Because that's the first thing I would have thought of. Like,
well,
if you
and
didn't care
that's
for
just
this movie, you have to be a white person that feels uncomfortable with what they're presenting to you. Because
yeah.
if you didn't like this movie, there's something wrong with you, because it was actually a very, very well done film, especially for this genre. Fantastic. The fact that it didn't give you what you wanted as a white person would be the reason you didn't like it, because you're racist.
And
Does that make
I mean,
sense?
that's also the reason why it should exist.
Exactly.
Right.
And it was directed by a woman. Can we just say thank you so much for that?
To Nia DaCosta.
This is like the best movie we've done for the podcast. It has everything we wanted in it.
My only gripe, I have 2 gripes.
Oh no.
One is silly. The other, all right. So the one thing I didn't really care much for regarding the film is how much they had to tell us about the lore of Candyman and how he's created, and how Nia DaCosta, girl, you are so good at showing us. You are so good at it. You didn't have to tell us. You could have just continued to show us, and I would have picked up that same message without the laundromat guy like yelling the
like at the end,
like the exposition at me. Like, you did not have to spoon feed it. Maybe you did have to spoon feed it to, like, the white people who weren't getting it, perhaps then, but girl, like, you're too good. don't waste your time on those words. Do
Yeah.
not waste your time on those words, because this woman is so good at directing. Like, it was unnecessary, you know?
I have a
Like,
feeling you're right, and I bet you that was something that was brought up
well, yeah, but
while
it's
it
probably
was.
the same people like Quentin Tarantino, who is the worst at it. Like, oh, never mind. Don't get me started. I do not like, anyway,
You know, that I
other
feel you.
thing.
I also feel. Ooh, what am I saying? That makes me think of Paul Thomas Anderson.
Mhm.
And the reason I don't like to watch any of his movies ever, uh, mostly because I don't like them. But I did like Punch Drunk Love. I'll say that. I did like that one. But I feel like his movies are so unnecessary. And the only way you find that out is after you've seen them. Which sucks. But I will say that's why I just generally do not watch his movies anymore. This is the reason I haven't seen The Phantom Thread. I want to see it really bad because it looks like a movie that I would enjoy, but I'm like, I know your movies, dude. I don't think I'm going to like this. And everybody's going to praise it because it was so amazing. And I'm just going to be like, what did you like about this movie? Because it was stupid. Like There Will Be Blood. No, absolutely not. I cannot believe I sat through that. That was almost as bad to me as Scarface. Like it was just the most completely unnecessary bullshit thing for me to have to sit through. The
Mhm.
only thing that was better about it than Scarface was that the acting was better because he got better actors to be in it. No offense, Michelle Pfeiffer, you were wasted in that Scarface movie. Anyway, totally
My
wasted.
dear precious Catwoman.
Yeah, seriously. Oh God. Oh, that's all you needed, Michelle. That's all you needed. If you did that, nothing else, we would still love and adore you. So where was I going with that? Paul Thomas Anderson. Oh, Magnolia. Because Magnolia was one of those where the first time I watched that movie, I thought the entire time I was kind of like it made me feel anxious because I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, oh my God, like what is happening in this movie? Like I was completely exhausted by the end of that movie because I was like, I don't understand what's happening. But I kept thinking that everything was going to make sense by the time I got to the end of it. Like the kid that was telling that long ass story to the cop in the car, I was like, that's got to make sense later. This is probably the most important part of the whole thing. And then when I got to the end, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I just sat there for like 4 long hours and it was completely ridiculous. It made no sense. It was stupid. It was stupid. It could have been a 30-minute movie without Tom Cruise in it. Oh, like I just hated it. I hated it. I still hate that movie. I think it's another waste of celluloid. Like, just don't do it. I can't believe you got funding for that. Ugh. But that was the thing. I told my sister, we went and saw a preview screening for Punch Drunk Love. And I don't like Adam Sandler. I didn't like Paul Thomas Anderson. So I am amazed that I went and saw that movie to begin with. Because I was like, what on earth am I watching this for? But it was free. I think that was one of the things.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's free, so I'll do that, whatever. And I was kind of hoping maybe for some free shit or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
But
they do like to give out some stuff for press screenings.
yeah, I got a bunch of stuff for Truth About Charlie. And even though I didn't like the movie, I was like, look at all the stuff I got. Woo.
Well, you also got a bunch of stuff for Charade.
Well, I all the questions were about charades, so of course I won. But anyway, so me and my sister went to go see this Paul Thomas Anderson movie, Punch Drunk Love. And I told my sister ahead of time, like literally right before it started, like the lights were going to go out. I said, by the way, this guy makes the longest movie. So just be ready to sit here for like 4 hours. And it turned out to be super short, very well done. And I was like, well, you can actually tell a story without getting too ridiculous about it. I mean, there's still some stuff in there that could have been shaved off, but for the most part, it was a very well made film. It's on the Criterion Collection. Good job. The one time it worked. But he also dated Fiona Apple, and that didn't go so well for her.
Oh.
So I don't like him for that too. Sorry, dude. You're don't like you. Anyway, where was I
So my
going with
second
any
gripe.
of that? Movies I don't like? I don't know. Why were we talking about that?
We're talking about my gripes.
Oh, your gripes.
Mhm. Yeah, well, my next one is only a little like, all right.
Oh, visual storytelling. I gotcha. Okay. I was trying to figure out where that
Right.
tangent came from.
Yeah. Yes. And how Nia DaCosta is too good to be telling me about it.
Gotcha.
Like, girl, I've only seen this, but you too good. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Because I've sat through some sluggish films. But yeah, no, the next one is that, isn't it a little, so William Burke, the laundromat guy, tells us a story about the guy he knew as Candyman to me. And he goes to the laundromat to do some laundry, and Candyman comes through that big ass hole in the wall and offers him candy. And he has like a hook for a hand. And small William screams. And then the police start coming in and they start running around, and the Candyman, I can't remember like the guy's name. But he kind of like like cowers down as the police are running around, and then goes quiet, and then he offers the kid candy. And I guess that I don't really care for child actors either. they're not all great. Because like I was like, oh, are you not afraid anymore because you took the piece of candy? Or are you taking the piece of candy because you're afraid to, spook him? But then, the narrator was like,
but the way
"That's
he
all the same."
tells the story, I think I know. Well, keep going.
Right. But so I didn't care I actually didn't care for the way he told the story. I think I just didn't care for any of his storytelling. maybe my problem is with the character William Burke.
I feel you.
But no, but yeah. So, and then the kid goes to leave, and then the police are running by, and so he's quiet so that they don't come in, because he knows that if they come in, they're going to hurt this guy who's actually a nice guy. And I mean, coming out of holes and offering kids candy is a little suspect, but otherwise he wasn't trying to hurt the kid. And he makes a noise. The police barge through. They go into the hole and they shoot the guy.
No,
and
they
that
beat
was a
him to
traumatic
death.
experience for young William Burke, going and doing laundry and then watching a man die. Now William Burke owns a laundromat. And then we have Brianna Cartwright, who we learn who is a art curator, does a fabulous job, very successful. She had a father who was, I guess, a wonderful artist, a famous artist, who sat on a ledge in front of her, turned to her and said, "Did you know your father could fly?" and jumped out the window. And spoiler, he could not fly. He killed himself in front of her very eyes. And now she sells art like and is like with tortured artists. And it feels a little like what the trauma response of these people They have
Well,
these like, really devastating moments, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna sit in that forever.
yeah. I mean, we can't flaw the filmmaker for that
No, I was just saying that
because,
felt silly.
yeah, well, and I will say that's exactly what Batman is. So, so I mean, you know, I guess we're supposed
He's
to.
fighting back. He's like he's got like vengeance or
No, but
whatever.
he's terrified of bats. That's why he's Batman.
Oh, you're right. I thought you meant like he's like
Well, he also,
face to face with bad guys every day.
yeah, I mean, that too. I guess he's just doing all of the things that he doesn't want to do, which
But
sounds
now it's
like
his sworn duty.
you're making a living off, off of the idea of doing all the things you don't want to do. I mean, if that's the case, then I'm doing that already, but I feel like I should be making more money to do it. I'm already in that spot. Damn it. You know, I do wonder there.
I didn't do the right wrong thing.
I didn't do the right wrong thing. No, I was gonna say, like, this reminds me of growing up. This is really probably stupid, but whatever. There's a part in Funny Girl, which we've covered this,
Mhm.
where at the very beginning of the movie, she gets the telegram from uh I'm blanking on his name, the Follies. What's that guy's name?
Oh,
Ziegfeld.
do not ask.
She gets the telegram from Ziegfeld, Florence Ziegfeld. Um, and she's like freaking out because she's like, where's the hard knocks? Where's all the stuff? She's like, I haven't suffered enough. And then she plops her head down on the ground. And I kind of always felt that resonated with me, but it keeps just happening. And I wondered if it's because my family was so supportive of me doing the things that I do, that's why I'm not very successful at doing it, if that makes sense.
Oh, you don't think you've suffered enough?
I haven't suffered. Like, I had a perfectly fine childhood where my parents said, you should be an artist. Definitely. Here's some things to do that with. Instead of like, no, how dare you? And I'm not like picking scraps out of the trash to create art or something, which is what I should have been doing, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah, but you're
not
doing that now.
now I am. Yeah, now I'm taking garbage and turning it into art because I can't afford anything. Which is kind of true. Um, so maybe I'm suffering now. I don't know.
Yeah, you're on your way.
I'm on my way. I'll get there when I'm 60.
And you know what? Still be young.
Yeah, well, my bones won't feel that way, but
Yeah. Gonna have to get you a few braces.
Yeah, I'll get some collagen and some, I don't know, whatever. I'll take some supplements. Anyway, so did you have anything else to say about the movie?
I don't think so. I really dug it. I really dug this director. I think I dug the director more than anything.
She has done other things, right? Because I feel like somebody posted on the internets, like, please don't forget that this director was actually not Jordan Peele. It was, like they had that whole thing on Twitter.
Yeah, because
like basically pointing out this is a woman that did this. Like, please don't forget that. Which I loved. I love that post. I was like, yes, I'm gonna like this post. But they also listed some other things that she had done. I'm trying to click on her. Hold on.
She did Little Woods. She's done a few shorts. But she's about to do the Marvels, which I am pumped for.
Wow, she really hasn't done
a
huge amount here. Good for you then. Good Lord, that's your entry into the world.
Yeah.
Good job.
And she done did it.
Little Woods. I haven't seen Little Woods.
No. But I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm going to now for sure. I'm looking at it, girl. I'll have to find that. Anyway, so what do you rate this one?
Oh, dang it, John.
Yeah.
A 7.5, I'd say, or 8. I thought it was a solid piece of work,
Yeah.
even though I did not like the spoon feeding bits. But
Sometimes,
But it's her first major film.
I mean, for her first major motion picture with a studio and tons of people probably telling her to change some shit.
Well, yeah, and she also like she was one of the writers on the screenplay, but Jordan Peele was also on that screenplay. And Jordan Peele, I also think that he does a lot of exposition as well that he doesn't need to do. And don't get me wrong, horror does it. Horror does that all the time. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't give it a pass on movies like Scream, where the killers give you the whole explanation as to why they did it. And I don't think that is necessary to make a good horror movie. I don't think that you owe me anything.
I honestly, and I've told you this before. Well, maybe I haven't. I can't remember. But I would love to do an entire horror film with no dialogue.
Yeah.
I want the main character to be a haunted house. And I don't really want there to be any kind of, I want the whole thing to be told visually. I don't want you to have any kind of spoon feeding of oh, this is why this ghost exists. If you don't catch why the ghost exists when I show you, then you don't deserve to
I don't even
sit
need to
there.
know why the ghost exists.
Well, no,
I love when you give me just something make me
no, I agree. I mean, for the sake of what I want to tell with that story, I do want you to see why the things happen, but I don't necessarily want to give you all of them, because it'll be, it's a whole house full of who knows what. But anyway, not the point. But I think it's possible. I think silent films prove that you can tell stories in a completely visual way without any kind of dialogue. And I'm not talking about ones with cue cards or title cards. I'm saying towards the end of silent filmmaking, there were some absolutely genius works of art where they told the entire story without having to have any kind of intertitles and just told you the whole story. And it's when you get to the end, you're like, oh shit, I didn't have to read a damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that's brilliant when people can do that. And there hasn't really been a whole lot modern times where they've done stuff like that, where it's completely comfortable to do it, if that makes sense. They did The Artist, which was it was a silent film, but it was done in the style of a silent film from the 20s. It just didn't have dialogue, and it didn't have any cards either. But
The Artist was super good. I saw
The Artist was very well done, but it was also a silent film being a silent film. I think it's possible to do a modern film the same way, but I don't think nobody's really done that yet. One guy did, but nobody saw it because it was obscure and French. I own it though. It's fantastic. Anyway, so I give it 8. I'll give it 8. I really loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Just the right amount of everything. I loved it. Yeah, 8. What do you recommend?
Fuck off, John. I can't believe this. I can't believe that you just came at me like this. I think that if you want something like Candyman, then I would recommend Jordan Peele's Get Out.
That's a good one.
I think I would do that. But if you want something that makes you Jordan Peele's Get Out. That's good.
My recommendation is and I hope I'm saying the name right. It's been a while since I've seen it. Velvet Buzzsaw. I think it was called.
Oh, yes, that's right. With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes. That would be my recommendation. And it mostly because art,
Yeah.
art versus art. Yeah, that would definitely be my recommend. And I love that movie. So we should do that at some point. That'd be fun.
Yeah, you wanted to when you first watched it. You sent me
Yeah,
a text about it.
I love that one. I think it's fantastic.
And I thought we were going to do it. And then
I would like to watch it again. So maybe we should. Oh, we
Yeah,
could do it
let's
for
do it.
Terror Tuesdays coming soon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's coming up.
Oh, this one would have been a good pairing with that, but whatever. We'll do something else.
Oh, we can find something else
We
to
can
pair
find
with
something.
it, I'm sure.
Yes. Anyway, okay. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode, which is more of a bonus episode. It is slapping because it's wedging its way in a lot in the middle of a lineup that we already had created.
Yeah.
So after this, you're either going to hear us talk about another bonus, which is the Fear Street trilogy that we had also recorded our discussion of, or Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Going right back into different genre altogether. But that's the fun
but
of
it's
the podcast.
also, man, because what was last week? Death Becomes Her.
Oh,
And then
God,
Don't Tell
it
Mom
was,
the
wasn't it?
Babysitter's Dead. And then I was going to pick another dead movie to keep the dead alive.
Keep the Ooh, Dead Alive. We should do that one
Dead
someday.
Alive.
I've actually seen that.
Oh, what a fun, that movie's, how fun. All right. So Candyman is a movie that, you know what? It's a movie that I did not pick because I used to rent movies a lot as a kid. And some horror movies I just didn't rent because, well, I mean, for multiple reasons, but because the covers were scary. And Dead Alive was a cover that haunted me as a kid. The one where I
the
my
mouth,
face and the
yeah.
other faces in it. Yeah, like I could not. Candyman was one that also spooked me because it had like the bee in the eye. Like, get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
hated that as a kid. Gremlins, those guys weren't scary. Like, those covers weren't scary. Scream, that cover wasn't scary. Like, just like
I got
but
you.
like going through Hollywood Video or Blockbuster and picking out movies, like if that like I just could not handle. Dead Alive was the one where I was like, I'm never gonna see that movie. I saw it last year for the first time.
And I watched it. Ridiculous.
Yes. I simply watched it because I was trying to get over those kid-like horrors.
Traumas.
Like I know I'm supposed to watch these movies, but like I couldn't because like those feelings were stuck.
Well, you're going to make tons of money off of it now because that's your living. You have to watch that movie.
Yeah. Now in movies like Martyrs, which also, whoa, that threw me through a loop. But that was a movie I was afraid to watch.
Martyrs.
Yeah, we talked about it on one of our trips.
I feel like we did.
We definitely did.
Wait a minute, what's the new movie coming out?
Be more specific.
There was a trailer for it on this one, and I actually did want to see it. I thought it was Martyrs.
The Edgar Wright one? Was it the Edgar Wright one? I missed most of the trailers when I came in.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, oh no, maybe it starts with an R.
Not Last Night in Soho?
No.
Was it Soho?
Damn it. What was that movie? It looks really good.
Yeah, Last Night in Soho is what I'm thinking about with Edgar Wright. I want to see that one. With Anna Taylor-Joy, the girl from The Witch.
Okay.
Or Halloween Kills.
Kills. I mean, yeah, we want to see that one too, but damn it.
I missed most of the trailers, I'm not gonna lie. I try to
sad.
Skip them over.
I know, yeah. I don't know. I'll figure it out and tell you later.
Okay.
And tell the poor footsies what it was. I can't remember what it was.
It definitely.
And upcoming movies aren't on IMDb because Ed Asner passed away, so there's like a whole thing on the top for that. Anyway,
Oh.
poor Ed Asner. I love Ed Asner. Rest in peace. So yeah.
Malignant?
Yes, that's it. Malignant. Thank you. I'm glad you found it.
You're welcome.
That looks good.
I like that cover.
Oh, but
I'm
Malignant.
not gonna watch the trailer.
Is that the one with the pointy thing going towards her eyeball?
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Suspiria.
I was gonna say when I saw the trailer for that, I'm almost certain it's somewhat of a remake of The Eyes of Veronica Mars, which was a very good movie with Faye Dunaway. And originally Barbara Streisand was supposed to play Veronica Mars, but she passed on it because it was a little too risque for her career. She's like, I don't know, but she did do the theme song. So there you go. And it's a very good one too. Also RuPaul's favorite Barbara Streisand song, but that's for a different story, different day. Yeah. So I can't wait to see that because I thought, oh my God, it's like The Eyes of Veronica Mars, only like modern and cool. Very exciting. Thank you. Awesome. Looking forward to it. So yeah, join us on the socials. 1 Foot Podcast on the tweets and the Instas.
Yep.
And 1 Foot on the Ground. And 1 Foot Podcast at gmail.com.
That's right. Email us.
Do the things.
We'll hit you back.
Tell us if you liked Candyman.
Yeah. Tell us
We'd
what
like
you
to
thought.
know.
What did we miss?
Yeah, tell us. Did we leave something out that you wanted us to talk about? We can follow up on it later. Have a little bonus. Totally.
Yeah, a bonus
Tell us.
bonus.
A bonus. We'll keep
bonusing.
Bonusing. I like bonuses. Bonuses are great. I got a bonus. Okay, that's enough. Okay.
All right. Bye. Are you trying to be spooky?
I was trying to be a bee. Is it a bee? Oh God.
That's the end? No.
So once we were done recording with the formal episode, we text each other a bunch of things. And then we found out some things. And we wanted to amend so we could add this to the episode. So here we are. We're back in your earballs. And we are telling you.
Well, we're adding it to the episode. So
well, yeah, that's yeah.
No. Oh, I mean I meant that we're back. So but that makes sense if we're just adding it to the end.
We're back at the after the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's fair. Fine.
It's a little bonus. It's a bonus. But I wanted to include it. I wanted to include it here with the main episode because I didn't want anybody to miss it. So basically, we had a bunch of things like that were mentioned off screen. First of all, the opening of the film, the logos were all reflections, so they were all backwards.
Yeah,
for the audience.
And the opening music was the buzzing of bees. Like it was like we were behind the mirror and bees were buzzing. And yes. I was like, ugh, I hate it. The person I went to see the movie with was like, I hate this. What is happening? I hate this. And I was like, oh, Candyman's in the mirror.
We're in the mirror. We're already in the mirror. And the film starts with a reflection, which we move out of. So we understand that we are in a reflection. I just thought that was a wonderful addition. To put in there.
It was very, and like we said before, homegirl Nia DaCosta is very like smooth in like her creep factor. You know what I mean? Like that was uncomfortable, you know, that it wasn't just the reflections, but like an increase of volume of bees buzzing and then like we pull out, like, because it's what was it, Monkey's Paw and like all the production labels.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember all of them. I just remember Monkey's Paw.
I know Warner's was one of them, wasn't it?
Yes.
Was it Warner's?
Or, was it Warner or Universal? Who knows?
Oh no, it's Universal. It was Universal.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, because it was.
I remember it backwards, and that's the first thing that happens on the screen. I was like, oh, it's backwards.
Yeah,
Oh, like a mirror.
fun.
I was like, I wonder if anybody else noticed. Who knows? You know, because people don't pay attention to that.
No, and it's like it's just something that's nice that, like, you know, a lot of people, some people don't think the beginning of movies like matter, and I guess it did not impact the film at all, but it was lovely. I thought it was nice.
I love it when people do that to the opening credits or the logos. Not a lot of people let it happen because they don't want you to mess with their things. Don't play with my toys. That was not a quote from anything. It was supposed to be, but I forgot what the quote was. Don't play with my toys. That's not a thing.
I mean,
no, I know.
it's
I know.
a quote
David,
from like children.
maybe David Fincher specifically. He wanted to put graffiti on the Fox logo for Fight Club, and Fox was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So that I remember that, but but it was funny because I remember somebody else did it, and I thought, well, why wouldn't you let David Fincher do it, but you're letting this bitch do it? Like, that's rude. I think it was X-Men was the first one that I noticed anyway, was the X in Fox lingered longer on the screen. And I was like, oh, they get it. Oh, they get to do it. But David
maybe, like, you know, they were like, graffiti. No, this is trash. We hardly wanted this movie to be produced to begin with.
Probably.
Yeah. Or maybe like maybe Fox was able to have control of that X, you know, or whoever pitched it is like, everything's the same, just you fade out, X is there. You know, it might depend on who you're talking to.
Yeah, I guess. I can't think of, I know there's other, oh, well, Warner Brothers lets people do it for sure. Because they've done it with all the Harry Potters, with the WB kind of going in with the style of the credits. I feel like Warner's has done it a lot. And of course, Disney likes to do it with their castle to change for different movies.
Yeah, but Disney fully owns all that stuff.
Well, heck yeah. I mean, they're just having fun. Thank goodness.
Yeah. It's not like
they asked for that. But yeah, they have, there's like, you can look on YouTube's and see all the different castles that they have done over the years, obviously up until a certain point, because, you know, that's the nature of time and internet. Anyway, so then you wanted to bring up Tony Todd because we didn't mention him.
He was in there. I liked how he was the original Candyman. Like, he reprised his role, but in like he was the slave at the end of the Candyman, where the lineage like started. He was the one who impregnated a white woman and then was like badly tortured and murdered, and like, you know, kind of like kicked off the line of Candyman. I can't remember his name. It's been a little bit. Wasn't Sherman. Sherman was the Candyman that we kept seeing, the one with the candy. But I liked that because people knew that he was going to have like an appearance in the film. And I liked that it wasn't like expected, you know, like he wasn't the Candyman that was terrorizing everyone.
I mean, it was de-aged, but he was there.
Yes. Yeah. But it was like, he was the original fellow, And then whenever, oh, what's his name? Anthony was like in his like Candyman transformation, like murdering people around and like having bees buzz around him. He kind of like transformed because now he's one of many. And Tony Todd appears and he's like, tell everyone what you've seen today.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thanks, dog. But I mean, we also see him in like the where what's his nuts is doing the storytelling bits.
Oh yes.
Yes. But even in those storytelling bits, we also had another person from the original Candyman, and that was Virginia Madsen. She did the voice of her Helen character.
Oh, okay. I did not know
in the
that.
little puppetries.
I do know Vanessa Williams came back to play his
Yes.
mom, or well, to play the mom of the mom. Yeah, to play the mom.
The mom of Anthony.
Thank you.
The mom of the the latest rendition of Candyman.
And not to be confused with Vanessa L. Williams, who is Vanessa Williams that we know as a singer and the first Black Miss America that was eventually ripped of her crown.
Was I was gonna say she's the one, I don't know, right? Was that her?
She's a what? I'm sorry.
No, that's Vanessa Hudson. What's wrong with me? I was saying she was the one on American Idol.
No,
And yeah, and that's Hudson.
no, she was you know her. I mean, I know her because I own her albums. I love her. She was on Ugly Betty. She was the
Yes.
main
She was also in
villain
Kill
lady.
Bill.
No, she wasn't.
What do you mean she wasn't?
Vanessa
God,
Williams
I'm bad
was
at
not in
this.
Kill Bill. Well, Vanessa L. Williams was not in Kill Bill. I don't know if Vanessa Williams was. Maybe she was. It's very confusing. But do you know the reason?
Now,
Do you know the reason that there's a middle initial for Vanessa L. Williams?
SAG.
You are correct, because Vanessa
Mhm.
Williams, the other actress, was there first. And it's so funny because every time I see Vanessa Williams pop up in the credits, I'm always like, oh, Vanessa Williams. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's the other one, because there's no L. Nothing against her, obviously. But she was just in something else too. And I was very impressed because I was like, oh, look at this girl. She's coming back. Because I haven't seen her in anything in a while. And she was in Candyman, and she was in one other thing that I just watched. And I was like, oh, crazy. I can't remember what it was though. Anyway, love her.
Oh,
She's
I'm
great.
thinking of Vivica A. Fox.
Oh, okay. No, not the same. But anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. But she was the mom, and she looked amazing. She's gorgeous. And then oh, and also the end credits. We didn't talk about that with the shadow puppets.
Oh, yes. And it turned them sideways to give you like a 3-dimensional.
Yeah, so
Dang,
you're
I
seeing
really
the end
dug that.
credits on one side of like a warehouse space. It was almost like you're in a gallery, which I thought was kind of cool. It fit with a theme. And then you see the projection of these puppet films, and I freaking loved it so much. Because I just love that kind of thing. But I also love that she gave you the stories of each of the people that turned Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, and I honestly, I got emotional. I thought it was, you know, it was
Yeah.
sad. But another thing to bring up, I'm trying to remember all the stuff that we wanted to bring
We
up.
did talk about I brought up how Anthony, like they tried to make him ugly, but he was still handsome, even though like he had like that like body gore going on like on his hands. And what was it? Was it like it made me think of like a hive, but for like wasps or hornets, like the mud wasps. You know what I'm talking about?
Daubers,
You
or
know
whatever they're called.
Yeah, and it gets like all like caked on, and it looks almost like paper mache.
I did think it kind of looked, in certain moments, it looked like a honeycomb. like the texture
Mm.
of it. And I thought that's what
Also,
they were going for, but I don't know.
yeah, but his like he's like transforming. He's got like this thing going on his
I
skin.
can't believe
And
nobody was more concerned about that because it
that
looked like
right?
he was dying. I was like,
It looked bad. It was like, buddy, you're
he's
gonna
like,
lose
oh my
that
gosh, what
arm.
happened to your hand? And they show it, and it's like this monstrous thing going on in his hands. Like, how come nobody rushed him to the hospital like right then? That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
his also his girlfriend who's like super concerned with him like the whole time. Like I was like, there's no way. There's no way he's sleeping in the same bed as her and she doesn't see it and go get that checked out.
Ugh, so
Like
gross.
absolutely not. And he's just like hiding it from everyone. And I thought it was going to be like a bigger deal. And I really kind of liked that he had gone to the hospital and they were like, okie dokie, fixed.
Yeah.
And then like I liked how it, I don't know, had like a little bit of a misdirect. I mean, it came back up later, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like, oh, this is so weird and suspicious and blah, 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 blah. They were like, oh yeah, that sucks. You have an infection. Here you go. And he
Yeah.
like got himself patched up. But after like waiting like way too long. Like way too long.
Oh, I agree.
And him getting his like hand cut off. Oh, and he shoved that hook up in his arm. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know,
Gross.
I loved it.
Gross. Also the sisters. William Burke's
Yes.
sisters were black because we had mentioned that we weren't sure if only white people died. And then we realized that his sisters were black. But I was thinking this morning about this because, everything bothers me. I was wondering if it's because I'm trying to think of the timeline. Like when his sisters wouldn't let him in the room, was it before or after he did the laundry?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it gave us that information.
Yeah, because it was kind of weird. And the fact that they excluded him from the situation and then ended up dead. Like, I couldn't figure out if maybe that's why Candyman killed them. I mean, it's still
they were
kind of
being like punk ass meanies to their little brother.
Like, hello, you're being mean to this brother, and I tried to give him candy. And I mean, it was his fault that guy got killed, basically.
Yeah, but it was also an accident. Like, my dude, don't be crawling out of holes in the walls, offering kids candy and not expect someone to get startled. Like I like at work, I startle people all the time. Well, sometimes I do it intentionally, but like even just like somebody who has got like a headphone in and like they know there's people around them, but for a minute they forget. Same deal. Same deal, Sherman. You can't just be crawling out of holes like that.
Nope.
I know the kid screamed, but you had a part.
He did. I mean, he did. But even the way the kid screamed was kind of douchey. I was like, excuse me. It wasn't that alarming.
What do you mean?
It really wasn't. Like, he just screamed.
The guy has wanted posters everywhere.
Well, yeah, but it was, I don't know. It seemed premature. Like, I could say if the guy walked out of the hole completely, I don't know, because it happened so slowly, and then for him to just all of a sudden scream, that's what bothered me. But
I think
because it happened so slow, and then like, why are you screaming now? And why so loud? I mean, I would have been like,
and just the one.
Like, I mean, I would have, to me personally, because I jump at things all the time in real life. So if I had the candy, the original piece of candy that flew out of that hole, that's when I would have screamed. But it would have been like like, oh my God, candy. Not like when the man slowly walks out of the hole.
You would,
and then I scream.
Oh my God, a candy, and then see a man come out of the hole, and then you probably would have screamed again. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like,
I think the initial reaction would have just been the squeal, and then I probably would have just tried to leave. Like, I wouldn't have screamed more. But that's just me. I don't know. I guess everybody's
Some
different with their
people,
screaming.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Also, there's a, fight, flight, and freeze. And that little kid froze for like a long time.
For a
And not to
long
say
time,
that
and
like
then
you're not
scream.
allowed to have your
And
own trauma response.
even him
but-
leaving the laundromat was like slow. I don't know how to explain it. It was very strange the way it all
Yeah.
happened.
I didn't like love, and we talked about this earlier in the episode. What was his name? William Berg or
Yeah.
William Burke? Yeah, like I didn't love any of his his storytelling, I guess. I loved the storytelling, like the puppets and things like that, but like I didn't like him as a kid and I didn't like him when he was grown, just like that character.
Yeah.
But,
the next
yeah.
thing to bring up
Go ahead.
is what am I saying? I'm trying to look for it. That's why I'm stalling here. You sent me a thing
I did?
about Candyman. Oh, no, there's a couple things. Okay. The first thing is that this movie debuted at #1.
Oh, yes.
And it's the first time that a Black female filmmaker was in the #1 spot on the first week, which, yes, very excited about that.
Yes. I was like, you go, girl.
Hells yeah. And then also, and we talk, well, I don't think we've ever talked about this,
Go ahead.
but I knew that Fiona Apple, she does with her music. So whenever somebody asks her for a song for a film or something, she doesn't collect the royalties off of that song for a certain amount of time. Like, because somebody's using it in something and she knows it's going to get popular, she always takes the money that she's getting off of those royalties and gives it to charity, which I think is beautiful. I love that she does that. And she did it with Shamika because Shamika's in Candyman right now. So I'm trying to find, all the royalties will be donated to the Harlem Children's Zone for how long? Let me, I'm trying
Is
to
it
look.
just the run of the film?
No, for the
For
next
like
2 years.
Oh, wow. 2 years?
Yeah, so for the next 2 years, if you purchase Shamika on any kind of thing, or she gets royalties from streaming Shamika, that money will go towards the Harlem Children's Zone. So I recommend everybody, please go out and buy Shamika. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She does it a lot with criminal, mostly because everybody wants criminal in their shows and TV and stuff like that. So criminal's usually the one that she will pull out and be like, I'm gonna let the royalties for this go to something. She did it not too long ago when it was in that movie. What was that movie with Jennifer Lopez? Hustlers.
Enough. Oh.
No, Hustlers. It was used in Hustlers, and she did. I can't remember what charity it was, but anyway, I love that she does that, and I think this is a very good one. So everybody, go out and get Shamika, please.
Yeah, that's
Just
pretty rad. I
purchase it.
did not know that.
Yeah, purchase it or stream it a whole bunch of times on repeat. It's a fun song. It's also interesting that they chose to use that particular song in the film because the background of that song is interesting. It's I can't remember the exact story. I should have probably looked it up before we did this, but she
Get it together, John.
She wrote it about a Black friend of hers that it was kind of like Fiona made it big and somehow Shamika was left out of it somehow. And I don't remember exactly, like I should have looked it up. I'm sorry. It had something to do with something like that. And she wrote that song specifically for Shamika. And I thought it was lovely.
It is
like
lovely.
her apology. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to look it up because I know there's a story. And I apologize for. Did you want to add something while I look up this song?
Yeah, I was gonna add something. I was gonna add that I'm pretty sure Candyman had a $25 million budget, which seems pretty low, doesn't it?
For nowadays,
Right?
yes.
Yeah, and I know it was like COVID times, you know, but
Was it made during COVID or was it
yeah,
before? Oh, it was.
yeah, it was. It was it was delayed. It was delayed 3 times because of the COVID pandemic. So yeah, and it was a $25 million budget. That seems so low, and I'm pretty sure they've grossed at least 50 million so far. So that's awesome,
That is.
especially since this is still like COVID times. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like movies aren't really jamming at the theaters right now, especially with the with the streaming companions.
Mhm. I
They
can't
released
find
it
that
for the
story
man.
on Shamika.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, and so yeah, so it's really cool. Like 50 million is like a lot, especially when, you know, theater revenue is or box office revenue is like down because of the whole streaming thing. Well, not entirely due to the streaming thing, but the streaming thing, you know, doesn't help.
Anyway, so do we have
What else
anything
do you have on Candyman?
That's all I had on Candy.
Dang it. Our bonus to the bonus is the same length as the bonus.
Maybe we can cut some of it out.
Like, okay.
Oh gosh, I did think about that, but we'll talk about that off the air. So anyway, thank you for joining us. We already did all our exit stuff in the last one. So
yeah, thanks for sticking around.
Thanks for sticking around for the bonus at the end of the bonus. We just wanted to make sure that those things were in there, and I didn't want people to like not hear it, because I know a lot of people listen to part 1, but they don't listen to part 2. Like Midsommar, they're like, you already talked for 8 hours. We don't need another 8.
Oh, I thought they listened more to part 2 than they did to part 1.
No, it's part 1. I think they don't. They're like, no.
They were like, I think I got enough. What more could you say?
So I just wanted to add this on here so that people didn't miss out on this information, especially since I think there was some good stuff that especially number 1 movie, that was awesome. Also for rated R, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That too. Yeah, that's rated R movie debuting at number 1. And when we were talking about it before, because that information came out after we recorded.
Yeah.
You know, because we recorded early.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we were talking about how she only had like, you know, shorts and such under her belt. And she did this movie, debuted at number 1. She's doing, and again, love the Captain Marvel stuff. She's doing Captain Marvels, which is the I assume, of the Captain Marvels.
Nice.
Which I hope Miss Marvel shows up in. Love her. I really want her to get on the show. But yeah. Miss Marvel, by the way, is a Pakistani like super fan of Captain Marvel who gets powers, and she calls herself Miss Marvel.
Oh, I love it. Get it, girl. Yes. Okay, so that was that.
So I guess that's it. No rating or anything like that.
We're just
gonna pop off here.
You just pop off.
Yeah. Have a beautiful night.
Pow 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 pow.
Pew 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 pew. Bye bye.
Bye.